So why don't you?
I needed money 'cause I had none. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mike Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show, the fastest moving hour in radio. And for those of you new to the show, every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific, we tackle the big stories in the world of law and politics, and we delve into the bizarre side of the news as well. Our topics today, first of all, should the lady on ESPN be fired for having the audacity to suggest that Donald Trump is a white supremacist? We're also going to get into the question of whether Martin Shkreli, is that Shkreli? Shkreli, is he trying the insanity defense in the penalty phase of the trial, because he's put a bounty out on Hillary Clinton in a way. And finally, we are going to explore the Hillary Clinton book. It's still really the talk of the nation. Clueless in Chappaqua, I think maybe would have been a good subtitle for Hillary, but we'll get into that. So our pal Ken Jeffries is under the weather. He has a bout of influenza going, but doggone it, we've got our millennial correspondent and co-host Connor Oakes, my son. He's with the law firm of Nemesek and Cole here in Los Angeles. Connor, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here to speak for the monolith that is the millennial generation.
Are the millennials actually, is it a bigger generation than the baby boomers now? I know if we go on the internet, we can figure that out.
I believe so. I think
Doggone it, we've lost our crown.
I think you've got us on net worth, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You've got your Bitcoin, and I don't think we have it. We don't even understand Bitcoin.
We don't either. We're all just convincing each other that it's a great idea.
Fair enough. So anyway, if you wanna call into the show, or if you want to deliver your get well messages to Ken Jeffries, please do so. You can call us at 818-818-6401, 818-818-6401, or you can tweet us at CRN Digital Talk. That's CRN Digital Talk. So before we get to our top story, just before we went on the air, Connor, you gave me some breaking news about Obamacare possibly being on the way out. You said something about Graham Cassidy bill?
Well, that's the thing. Nobody's paying any attention to it. It's been in the works almost a week now. Graham Cassidy is the name for the Republicans' newest attempt to repeal Obamacare. And
yes, I'm getting excited already.
I know you are. The scary thing from, I'd say, the millennial monolith perspective is that John McCain, who for some reason became the last bastion of liberal hope at the last possible second, might be on board with this new plan. And if he is, then
it would not be a repeal. It would actually be a repeal and replace of Obamacare.
In some form, but it would be such an insubstantial replacement that a lot of the objections to repeal and not replace
pre-existing conditions, that thing out of there. I love it. Will you just tell me what makes sense, Connor? I show up in my insurance guy's office and I say, "Hey, Wilbur, I'd like to insure my house against fire." He says, "Certainly, Royal. I'd be happy to take your premium and get my commission." Where is the house? "Oh, across the street." "It's right across the street, Wilbur." "Yeah." He says, "Royal, it's on fire. You expect me to insure a house that's on
pre-existing condition.
It's a pre-existing condition. You can't turn me down." So that's my perspective on pre-existing condition. I realize it's not the most popular approach. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we are going to talk about the lovely lady on ESPN who says that Donald Trump is a white supremacist, and some people think she ought to be fired. Stick with us on the Royal Oakes Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oakes Show. Fred Dry and I want to tell you about Blue Apron. This is a way you can really cook with the right kind of foods, right? They send all this to your home, don't they, Fred?
Yeah, yes, they do. And they knock on your door, and you open it up, and there's a bunch of food in there. You can just go to your kitchen and cook it up.
It's fresh. It's guaranteed to be fresh, and they have so many great food ideas and food meals together. And you can listen to this, you can get this week's menu, your first 3 meals absolutely free and free shipping if you go to blueapron.com/dryer, DRYER. You've got your apron on. You going to be doing some cooking tonight?
Yeah, I've got 2 aprons. One's in the dry cleaners, and I got one home in the laundry, but I'm ready to roll.
You're going to love how this Blue Apron, how the food tastes, how it feels. You go to blueapron.com/dryer, and that's Blue Apron. They send the food right to your house. Remember, you get your first 3 meals free with free shipping if you go to the website blueapron.com/dryer, DRYER.
And I learned it very well.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. Oh, is this fair or what? Our co-hosts, of course, get to guess the name of the bumper music coming back. And for Connor Oakes, it could be a bit of a challenge because I think this was recorded several decades before you were born. But nonetheless, you may be a music buff, so we're going to give you a chance to guess this bumper music.
All right, we're going to narrow it down. There's a British accent.
Okay.
I'm saying post-Beatles Revolution. I'm going to say
about the same time, I think.
Okay. So it's the English Invasion or whatever it was called.
Could be. Give you a hint. The name of the group is The Circle.
Oh God.
And they spell it Cyrkle.
Oh, that doesn't help.
You're never going to guess it. Red Rubber Ball.
No.
You don't have quite the batting average Ken Jeffries had. By the way, our co-host Ken Jeffries mentioned he's under the weather with influenza. And, Engineer Jose, there must be some technical difficulties because you were telling me during the break, no one's called in to wish Ken a speedy recovery? Not a single call yet? Okay, we're going to give the number out again, 818-818-6401, if you want to wish Ken that speedy recovery or make a comment about it.
Maybe the lines are too jammed for anyone to get through.
That's it. I love it. That's a very good explanation. So on ESPN, there's a lady by the name of Jameel Hill. She's a co-host on SportsCenter with Michael Smith. And I don't know exactly how she got into it. Con, did you? I don't imagine you actually saw this, or maybe you read about it. But apparently, she suggested that, well, okay, perhaps she thinks Donald Trump's a white supremacist. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how that really comes up in the, Mets 5, Dodgers 3, and the president is a damned racist. We'll be back in a moment to blow the headlines out of proportion.
Sports has been infused for a long time, but especially in recent years with the racial and social justice issues of the day.
Right.
You've got Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, yeah. Take the knee during the national anthem.
The most, the prime example of that. But it comes up a lot, especially when you have a league that is populated in large part by people of color and owned in almost dominating fashion. 31 owners are white. Are all 31 owners of NFL teams old white men? If you look at statistically, what are the odds?
I chalk that up to a coincidence.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a coincidence.
All right, so ESPN has this show going on, and she's really under a microscope for making this comment. Interestingly, the New York Times is telling us today that there's a Connecticut law that may protect her because a lot of people were saying, well, let's fire her. They fired Kurt Schilling. He made a bunch of wacky comments, and they just cut him loose. He'd been a baseball analyst for them. But Connecticut has a law that says, hey, guess what, folks? If you're an employee in Connecticut, the First Amendment, which only governs First Amendment says the government shall not infringe on free speech. Connecticut feels that whether it's the government doing the infringing or not, it could be a private company like ESPN, you may not fire somebody for expressing a political opinion. This in spite of the fact that Connecticut is what they call an at-will state, meaning in general, if you're employed, then the boss has a right to fire you without proving good cause. Unless, of course, there's a contract, could be written or oral. The contract could create a right to be fired only for good cause. But here, apparently, otherwise, ESPN could fire her. But people are saying that maybe because of this Connecticut law, ESPN is not free to fire her even if they wanted to.
I think it would be hard to argue for her later that she was fired wrongfully because ESPN is fundamentally an entertainment company, and it would be pretty easy to say that she crossed a line into a place that that ESPN doesn't want discussed on air and didn't want that discussion to be part of the ESPN brand, and this is a sports show. It would be different if it was CNN's Crossfire. I guess Crossfire's 15 years out of date, and I'm dating myself. But it really, to me, the backlash on both sides, not just some on one side, people saying she should be fired. On the other side, there was an enormous backlash to Sanders, Sarah Huckabee Sanders specifically saying she should be fired.
A fireable offense,
from
she
the
said,
bully pulpit of the White House. And that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think she probably didn't do herself any favors there, because she probably created a situation where the corporate entity said, oh, you think, Madam Press Secretary, you can tell us what a fireable offense is? We'll show you. We're not going to fire this lady. So she probably went too far in that way.
If you're worried about the government infringing on speech, there's really no greater and scarier boogeyman than the bully pulpit of the White House reaching down and saying, take away that person's platform.
Yeah, no,
you
that's
private
true.
industry, I'm telling you what a fireable offense is. Get rid of that person. Take her out of the media. And I mean, if you want to talk about the government infringing on the media and deciding what fake news is, this administration is the best example.
Now, there is another interesting angle here, though, and that is, according to the New York Times reporting, ESPN has actually been encouraging its hosts to be provocative on subjects even beyond sports, getting into just pop culture and society in general. And so she could have that as an excuse, saying essentially, hey, not only am I protected by the Connecticut law that says thou shalt not fire somebody for expressing their First Amendment right of free speech, it applies in this non-governmental context, you even told me, this was part of the job.
Yeah.
And, should I really be punished for doing that?
No, ESPN can't have its cake and eat it too. It can't try to go viral with exciting, explosive rants by its, charismatic hosts who are talking about the hot button issues of the day, and then at the same time, as soon as they step one toe out of line and the White House says no, they get to fire them. It goes wrong. It feels wrong that way too.
Yeah, and yet, traditionally, entertainment folks have a lot of latitude. I mean, they have morals clauses in their contracts because they know if somebody goes out and goes Charlie Sheen on you and nobody likes you or the show anymore and you start losing money, you have to have a lot of flexibility to cut somebody like that loose. Similarly, I think maybe it's not a perfect analogy, but this is showbiz. If you had a sitcom and a sitcom artist or actor, that is, insisted on injecting some politics, I think that the producers would be free to say, we realize we're squashing your political viewpoints here, but we just don't think it's going to work in Home Improvement or I Love Lucy or whatever. And because it's show business, just if you want to inject a Bernie Sanders rant in Big Bang Theory, I don't think that you're going to get away with it.
No,
so
you're right.
Why should she be allowed to inject her Trump rant in a sports show when Charlie Sheen couldn't do it with 2.5 Men?
You're right. It is their platform. If you're using their megaphone, you have to abide by what their brand looks like. At the same time, like you said, if ESPN's encouraging this sort of thing, if ESPN wants its anchors to be firebrands that bring people in and make that YouTube video that really hits it and blasts across Facebook and people start thinking, wow, hey, look at Kellerman. Kellerman had a great ESPN-hosted rant with Snoop Dogg on the panel about race relations in America and about Colin Kaepernick, and it blasted across the airwaves and got millions of views and made ESPN presumably a lot of money. He's a white man. Nobody was calling for his resignation.
Right. And, people are talking about Kurt Schilling, and right-wingers are saying, he was fired for expressing his opinion. ESPN is striking back. They're saying, Kurt Schilling was fired for repeated instances of insubordination, some public and some not. So his situation might have been different. But this Connecticut law, they're quoting it here in the paper. It says, any employer who subjects any employee to discipline or discharge on account of the exercise of the rights guaranteed by the Constitution is liable for damages. So the employer is liable if they fire somebody as a result of expressing their political opinions. Hey, when we come back, we're going to be talking about Martin Shkreli. We're going to figure out how to pronounce his last name and figure out whether he's really gone crazy on The Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with The Royal Oak Show.
Credit cards are sure fun to use, perhaps a little addicting, and they kind of make you feel rich. Well, if you're like most Americans, you've got over 5 maxed out credit cards in your pocket right now, and you can barely make the minimum payments, right? I'd like to personally recommend a company called DebtHelper.com. DebtHelper.com is a licensed and insured nonprofit debt management agency. They can help cut your interest rates by as much as 50% and lower your monthly payments, saving you thousands of dollars in finance charges on your credit card bills. DebtHelper.com does not lend money. Debt Helper's program could have you paying off your credit card debt in full in a 3 to 5 year period. Call DebtHelper.com right now for your free confidential consultation today. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. Credit card management services Inc. DBA DebtHelper.com. 1325 North Congress Avenue, number 201, West Palm Beach, Florida 33401. Down payment of debt may be creditors to increase finance and other charges or undertake collection activity, including litigation.
Experience the romantic getaway you deserve at Maui's premier bed and breakfast, the Plantation Inn. With plantation-style architecture and decor combined with modern amenities such as dual rain showers and whirlpool hot tubs, guests relax in a tranquil oasis in the heart of Maui's historic Lahaina town. The inn is situated conveniently less than 2 blocks from Lahaina Harbor, as well as the famous French Street, known for its range of shops, restaurants, gallery walks, and museums. The Plantation Inn is home to Gerard's Restaurant, voted Open Table's top most romantic restaurants in North America. Chef Gerard's contemporary island French cuisine consistently earns some of the highest ratings in Hawaii. Come discover why Hawaii Magazine readers named the Plantation Inn #1 best bed and breakfast in Hawaii. Visit theplantationinn.com or call us at 667-9225.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
With our co-host Connor Oakes.
That's not fair.
Also, millennial correspondent for the Royal Oak Show.
You can't do this to me. You make me guess the bumper music, and then you have me guess the name of a song that I can't say on radio.
Okay, so I guess that's a little bit of a stacked deck against you, isn't it?
That's just not fair.
I'm sorry. So if you you can clean it up the way this person cleaned it up.
So the radio edit name is Forget You.
Okay, that's very good. And who actually was singing this
version?
I
don't remember, actually. After his sexual assault allegations, I expunged his memory, his name from my memory
Now, there's
banks.
a name. This one was Gwyneth Paltrow with the Glee cast.
Yeah.
It was part of a Glee show.
That was
and what you heard was... And I was amazed because a pretty nice voice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't know Gwyneth Paltrow had that in her toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
5-tool player.
The actual name, was it CeeLo?
CeeLo Green.
CeeLo Green, okay.
Yeah.
So this person is controversial, you're saying?
Yeah, he had some sexual assault issues, and then in an interview after being accused of something unsavory that was vague, he said something along the lines of, well, it's not rape if she's asleep.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we can try to decide who's worse, CeeLo Green or Martin Shkreli.
So let's put them in a
Shkreli.
basket and label them something. I would say
could call them
deplorable.
a basket
They're
of deplorables. Exactly
yeah,
right. So Martin Shkreli, he is in custody, and this is a guy. It's weird. He's just been convicted of some financial, for defrauding people, and it had nothing to do with the reason people were talking about Martin. We'll call him Martin.
Reasons.
Yeah, he bought a drug. It's an HIV drug
Called Daraprim.
Daraprim, okay. And apparently the cost was about $14 a dose.
Reasonable.
And after he bought it and had control of it, he decided that I'm going to go with what the traffic will bear, and he hiked the price up to
5,500% price increase.
So it's now $750.
$750 a dose.
That's bad publicity.
That's
and
bad.
his nickname was Pharma Bro, right?
Pharma Bro, yeah.
Okay, so Pharma Bro, everybody hates him because of that. But then he gets into some trouble. He defrauds some people, securities, fraud, and all sorts
Who
of deals.
doesn't?
Well, it's like a Bernie Madoff kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so a month or two ago, he's found guilty, and he's acting all weird in court, and we're going to talk about what the jury said about him in a minute. But bottom line is he's convicted, and instead of being all contrite, oh, Your Honor, I'm sorry, I see the error of my ways, and his lawyer is whispering in his ear, you have to say you're sorry, the judge decides how many years you're going away, Farmer Bro. Instead, he's still defiant, and he's saying, bring it on. And what does he do? In the last couple of days, while he's out on bail, his very good lawyers got the judge to let him out pending sentencing. That doesn't always happen. What does he do? He sends out a tweet saying to folks, hey, Hillary Clinton's out on the big book tour because she just wrote this book, What Happened? And you know what would be fun? I tell you what, I'll give you $5,000, ladies and gentlemen, if you come back with a strand of Hillary's hair, okay? You give me a lock of her hair, and you get $5,000. Well, this got the attention of the Secret Service. This got the attention of the prosecutors who just got him convicted, and it got the attention of the judge. Can you imagine this?
Unbelievable.
I mean, I'm thinking that he's just a little late. You want the insanity defense to find a not guilty verdict, but he's been found guilty. Now he's injecting the insanity defense to somehow influence his trial? How could he be so stupid as to not be on his best behavior when this judge is literally going to decide whether it's 5, 10, 20, 25 years in the big house?
Yeah. There's just no way that he is processing the events in his life in a normal human way. He's got to have some sort of neuroses or psychosis or simply a narcissistic personality to such an insane degree that he was probably super confident that he'd get away with his financial scam. He was probably super confident that he would get away with everything in the trial.
But after it doesn't work out.
Yeah, he's either having a complete meltdown or he just doesn't understand that it's too late for him to make some bold attempt to change his lot in life. I'm sorry, Martin, you're done. This is the guy who bought the Wu-Tang album and kept it from the world. He has deprived the world of a Wu-Tang album. He is a criminal.
That's a jailable offense right there.
Yes.
As his trial wound down, he cannot stay off of social media. He's a little bit like our president. He posted, trial's over tomorrow, bitches. Then, if I'm acquitted, I get to blank Lauren Duca.
Lauren Duca is a writer for Teen Vogue.
Uh-huh. And then he said, and Anna Kasparian, she's pretty hot. Now, his lawyers are saying, well, when Martin said he wanted to blank Lauren Duca, he meant he just wanted to mess up her career, not anything else. And so they're trying to sort of explain themselves. When we come back, we're going to consult the jurors and find out what they said about Martin. They had to kick some of the jurors off the panel because they seemed almost biased. You're on The Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with The Royal Oak Show.
Hey, Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurant.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. there's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com. 310-873-4422.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares. First or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
'Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling, and every time we kiss, I swear I can fly. Can't you feel my heart beat fast? I want this to last. Need you by my side.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with co-host and millennial correspondent Connor Oakes, and all-around music buff. I mean, Connor, he knows everything when it comes to music, so he's not going to have any problem guessing this bumper
Cascada.
music. Oh, you got it!
Every Time We Touch.
Excellent. Very
Pretty
good.
much my middle school crush. Right
Oh, well, that's true. That's very impressive that you would know that. So congratulations. You're getting back into the Ken Jeffries ball game.
In the zone.
Yeah. So we're talking about Martin Shkreli. He is the guy who is convicted of securities fraud. He is also the guy who bought the anti-AIDS drug and decided to raise the price by about 5,000%. So he's not real popular. We're going to get to some of the comments from some of the jurors who were so biased they wouldn't even let them on the panel. But I wanted to get back to the Hillary Clinton angle. While he's awaiting sentencing, Martin decides to misbehave by going on social media and saying, "Hey, folks, Hillary's out on her book tour. $5,000 to anybody who brings me a lock of her hair." And that didn't go over well with the judge, Secret Service, and so on. And so he's in jail now, pending the sentencing, because of essentially a threat. Now, here's his answer, and you tell me what you think of it, Connor. He says, "What about Kathy Griffin? She held up a head of Donald Trump, a bloody head. You know, it was a fake thing, but it was just kind of like an ISIS deal.
Absolutely, it's
and another example that he gives is on the campaign trail last year, Donald Trump was at the podium making a comment about the NRA, and he made a comment that some people construed as, well, gee, you know, if you folks with guns in the NRA, if you might have to defend yourself. And it was interpreted, you Second Amendment people, it was interpreted as a threat against President Obama. Yeah. So Martin and his lawyers are saying this is, you know, it's free speech, it's hyperbole. Of course, he didn't actually intend any violence, but what about that? I mean, does the Kathy Griffin and the Trump thing, nobody's arresting Trump and Kathy Griffin.
It's pretty hard for me to step up and defend Trump's actions as not a threat or not an accusation, but at least his was, by comparison, vague and confusing.
You're right.
Frankly, given that it's Trump, it could be simply confused, but I don't give him that much credit. Kathy Griffin, the severed head, obviously intended to be violent and provocative, shocking, but that is not an explicit call to action.
Right.
You could interpret that to say, well, here's a violent image that resulted from clear violence against a Trump dummy. That means go commit a violent act against the real Trump. You could make that argument. But when he says, I'll pay you to cut off a piece of her hair, which is her body, this is a violent act inherently. This is scary stuff.
Yeah. Some unbalanced person could well take that as an encouragement or some kind of an invitation, or maybe they just want the money. Yeah. So, I think that's a good point. I think there's a distinction, and let's face it, I think he deserves to be thrown in jail, if for no other reason, just stupidity. I mean, you can't behave yourself for a few weeks while the judge decides how many decades you're going to go away for. I mean, it's actually an argument for him being unbalanced and a nutcase, and they should have had a psychiatrist come in, I think, and say that. But since he's the boss and he has all the money he was paying his lawyers, I bet it wasn't even an option. I bet he never, even if his lawyers suggested it, Martin Shkreli wouldn't say, oh, yeah, let's get a shrink in here, tell him I'm crazy. And even though it would have reduced the chance of a guilty verdict, reduced the chance of a long sentence. Yeah. So when they were first picking the jury for this Martin Shkreli case, apparently people didn't like him because one juror called him the most hated man in America because he hiked the anti-AIDS drug price up 5,000%. One member of the jury pool called him a greedy little man. Another called him the face of corporate greed in America. One of them said he kind of looks like a blank. Now, even though this is internet radio, I don't really want to say the word, but I'll give you a hint. He kind of looks like it rhymes with what Ken Jeffries is. Ken is sick, okay? So it rhymes with sick. This guy says he kind of looks like a sick. We'll call him that. So then another juror said, is he stupid or is he greedy? I can't figure it out. Another juror said, and this goes against the whole concept of the jury system, he says, you'd have to convince me he was innocent rather than guilty. So you go in with 2 strikes against you, and that's And then the final point, we were talking about this off the air, you're going to have to explain this to me and to our vast listening audience, Connor Oakes. One juror said he disrespected the Wu-Tang Clan. All right. Now, first of all, Wu-Tang Clan is a musical group, right? First, can you tell me why they call themselves that? It's W-Tang. Is it like a family?
No.
Half Scottish, half Chinese? That's why they're a clan?
It's not. So throughout the history of hip-hop, you've got lots of artists who come together to collaborate, and they form groups that sort of became super groups. They're not boy bands, but they're basically hip-hop boy bands.
It's like NSYNC brought into the 21st century?
Nothing like that, but kind of like that. Why did I use that comparison?
You're humoring me.
Well, I'm humoring myself. It was a very bad analogy.
You said boy bands.
I did. That's all on me. But the Wu-Tang Clan is a bunch of hip-hop artists.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so he disrespected the Wu-Tang Clan. Apparently, Martin Shkreli, this billionaire, goes out and buys an album. There's this concept where a group will sell an album to one rich person, depriving the entire world of their artistic talents?
Yeah, as far as I know, no one else has ever done this, but the Wu-Tang Clan said, we're the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
We ain't nothing to mess with. And you can't... Nobody else can do this on the planet, but we can. So we're going to offer one copy of our next album This was a couple albums ago, I guess. But one copy, and no one else will get to enjoy it but you. And that's what you're buying, the exclusivity. And presumably after that, you've got the disc in your hand. You could.
So they're inviting a rich person to resell the album?
I think
they're comfortable with the idea of some rich guy then being the Capitol Records type person?
I mean, Radiohead gave away an album for free. Wu-Tang Clan did this in order to. It's a publicity stunt, but it's also an attempt to sort of strike back at the music industry and the music culture and the music consumer industry, who all pirate everything, to say, look, how does it feel to be deprived of your side of this bargain?
So Martin Shkreli bought
to deprive
the
us
album
of our profits.
And what has he done with it? He just put it in
just
safe?
Sits on it safe. No one has ever heard it.
I bet he'll use it. He'll sell it and pay off his lawyers. He's probably got a gigantic legal bill.
We can all hope so.
Yeah. Plus, he'll be able to buy candy bars and cigarettes behind bars, because that's where he's headed probably for a very long, long time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I know you've been waiting for our special review of Hillary Clinton's book, What Happened? And actually, the working title of the book initially was What the F Happened? And the lawyers talked Hillary out of it.
Would have made so much more money.
She really wanted to stick with that. And stick with us here on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
If you're eligible for Medicare, you need to know there is money available to you that can lower your Medicare prescription costs. How much can you save? Find out now by making a free call to Health Markets. They'll search from a variety of nationally recognized plans to find you the right coverage at a price that fits your budget. And they'll do all this valuable research for you at no charge to you. And remember, you may be able to save money on your prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge. Call Health Markets right now.
800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. That's 800-990-0351.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all 50 states and D.C. Service and product availability varies by state. Agents may be compensated based on your enrollment.
Aloha! Experience your home away from home being beachfront at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Begin your getaway relaxing on over 11 acres of tropical Hawaiian gardens at Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel, voted Best Aloha Spirit by Hawaii Magazine readers. Just walking around the grounds with all the tropical vegetation, relaxing poolside, or kicking back in the sun on the world-renowned Kaanapali Beach makes you feel like you're home in paradise. There's a package to fit all your needs: wedding, honeymoon, activities, private parties, great food, or just good old beach fun. The hotel perpetuates the Hawaiian tradition at its best. Call 661-0011 or visit kbhmaui.com.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel. Sitting on the park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intent.
It is the Royal Oak Show, and we're so glad you decided to join us today. And our co-host and millennial correspondent Connor Oakes is mulling over this latest bumper music because he's got to keep up with Ken Jeffries' high batting average.
I'm going to guess it's Zeppelin.
No, it's not Led Zeppelin. No, I'm going to give you a hint. Jethro Tull is the name of the group.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and the lead singer, Ian Anderson.
Right.
This would have been about 1969, so a little bit before your time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Aqualung.
I would have gotten if we'd had Will Ferrell singing it and accompanying it with
that's
the
right.
jazz flute.
Will Ferrell did that on
SNL.
Yeah, he was terrific. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the time of the show where we want to beat up on Hillary a little bit. My take is, first of all, it was funny you said off the air, Connor. You said, "Yeah, why wouldn't they change the title?" The name of Hillary's book is What Happened, and I thought it was interesting that I'm listening to her book, and when I heard her reading it, she calls it What Happened. And because I thought the way the inflection would be, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah, but she doesn't say that.
Yeah.
And I think if she had made the title, What the F Happened, it would have sold more books. People would have talked about it even more. You think maybe she would have run into legal trouble if she'd actually said that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think she
would have been beneath the dignity of the former Secretary of State of the United States.
Yeah, she sees herself as a very dignified person, and in large part that was I would say part of her downfall in fighting with Trump. She was constantly off-put by having to mud wrestle a pig, and she thought it was beneath her. It was beneath the dignity of her experience in her office and her qualifications for the office, the position, which were massive compared to his, which were nothing. And she felt like, I don't have to get my hands dirty in this way. I don't have to campaign among the Rust Belt types that I think are gonna come around to my side.
It's interesting that she might have benefited from breaking out of her shell and just being more human because she is a little robotic. She's kind of like a robot in pantsuit.
Yes.
When she was on stage in that debate, when he was acting so weird, it was sort of the sit on the stool, the sit on the stool format where you're not stuck on the stool. You're able to stand up and show your humanity and so on. He's walking behind her. He's looking over her shoulder. It was like Jaws. Yeah. And she says in the book, I'm on the stage, and everywhere I go, he's right over my shoulder. And she says, I wish I had just looked back at him and said, back off, creep.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would have been a moment that people would have remembered and talked about. Virtually every presidential election, we have these moments. There you go again. Yeah. And Ford forgetting that Poland's controlled by communism, and Ronald Reagan's, I'm not going to hold your youth and experience against you. You have these moments that really stand out in history. So I think maybe she should have done it, don't you?
She certainly had to do something to change the narrative, because the narrative was Trump hammering over and over on how she was crooked and how there was this vague, nebulous concept of emails that may have indicated that she did something bad at some point, and maybe if there was something bad in them before they got deleted, then she's evil. That's all that matters. She wasn't willing to get down in the dirt and say, Dirty Donald over here is, covered in filth from his previous real estate failings and multiple bankruptcies, blah, 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 blah. She didn't attack.
Well, I got to say, having listened to most of the book now, my review of it is it's got three chunks to it. One chunk is kind of recycled campaign speeches because, you got 200 or 300 pages to fill up. And so she's got all these speeches, and she talks about the environment and, income inequality and so on. And it was all done before. Then there's the part of the book where she is obsessed with identity politics. I mean, the thing about the woman becoming a president after all these hundreds of years, it is like the biggest thing in her life, and she will not stop talking about it. And to me, I think actually the fact that American women rejected the temptation to vote for a person just because she was a woman is a huge compliment to the American sort of middle voters who are maybe some apolitical folks. They're not locked into the progressive or extreme right-wing positions. They're willing to listen. There are so many millions of women who must have said to themselves, it has been 270 years. It kind of would be nice if we had a woman in the White House. And they had a chance, a former first lady, a former senator, and a former secretary of state, and yet they said no.
And at the same time, you could argue that maybe that's what went on in their heads. Or maybe there's such inherent sexism and prejudice against women, especially in positions, the highest positions of power in government, corporations, anywhere else, such that everyone looked around and said, yeah, let's elect a woman president. But when push came to shove and they actually had to cast that vote, they couldn't bring themselves to. They thought, she can't stand up to Putin because she's a woman. She won't project an image of power and intimidation to the world because she's a woman, because there's inherent sexism in this system.
Well, you can argue, of course, whether the allegations against her over the years were appropriate or not. But I thought the ultimate irony when it comes to Hillary's book is the fact that she was just so angry and so totally flummoxed by the idea that how in the world could 62 million people make the astounding, inexplicable, bizarre decision to vote for this, guy who was a reality show host who was a liar. And for her to express this being so stunned, look in the mirror. The reason Donald Trump won is because people didn't trust you, because of Whitewater, because of Travelgate, because of Hillary Care, because of your emails, because of Benghazi. Now, you can argue as to all those things that they're all wrong and that she's pure as the driven snow on each of them, but that's why she lost.
That's what
because
happened.
People didn't like her, and they may not have loved Trump, but they were willing to go with him instead. Hey, when we come back, the bizarre story of the week, the weirdest Tinder date ever on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show. Come to Angelo's and Vinci's to see the memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. See the art of the masters, an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, fairy lights from cathedral ceilings, and our ancestors smiling down at you from the family love altar. The romance of Romeo and Juliet, and find the mystical Room of the Moon. And don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, make our own sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. From pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, just $18.95, and Angelo's and Vinci's has been named 2 years in a row Best Italian Restaurant in Orange County. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurant, 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022.
Hey there, did you know that with a bachelor's degree, on average, you could make almost twice as much over a lifetime than a person with just a high school diploma? It's true. According to the 2012 U.S. Census Bureau, college grads with a bachelor's degree make almost twice as much as high school grads. Now, going back to school is easier than ever at Independence University. Log on and complete coursework from the park, or the beach, or even your couch watching the kids. And Independence University gives you the tools, a free tablet and laptop for undergrad students to use and keep when they graduate. That's right, get a laptop so you can go to college from anywhere. Take the first step to a new career in business, information technology, healthcare, or graphic arts. Call to find the online degree program that's right for you, and you could be on your way to increasing your earning potential.
800-989-1361. 800-989-1361. That's 800-989-1361.
Mortgage rates are at all-time lows. If you have not refinanced your current mortgage in the last few years, you could be losing thousands of dollars a year by paying too high of an APR. And the place to call is LendingTree to find out how low you can go. We can match you with lenders offering some of the lowest rates APRs available. Some APRs are lower than 3%. Imagine how much money you can save every month if your current mortgage is at 6% or higher. And all it takes is one free call to LendingTree to match you with a lender who may be able to lower your current home mortgage rate. Learn how to potentially save thousands by refinancing your current mortgage. Call LendingTree right now. NMLS 1136.
800-628-5067. 800-628-5067. 800-628-5067. That's 800-628-5067.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host and millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes. Connor, you got a good guess here on what our bumper music happens to be?
Through the Grapevine. Or just Grapevine, maybe.
Well, actually, you just stretch it out. Stretch it out.
I heard it through
the
There
grapevine.
we are.
Yeah, we're going to give you credit for that.
Thank you very much.
You happen to know
important word.
Yeah, you happen to know what the artist's name is?
No, I don't.
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye, of course.
Yeah, exactly
of course,
right.
I should have known Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, actually, Marvin Gaye came to a bad end, and it was a bad joke pertaining to that. Marvin Gaye Sr. Shot him And
really?
Yeah, exactly. The son, the singer, was shot dead. There was a family quarrel.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they referred to the show, apparently 2 shots, they referred to it as Marvin Gaye Sr.'s greatest hits, which I don't think is really a joke.
No,
it's just more like a news story.
I would have gone with Marvin Gaye is, number 2 with a bullet or something along that line.
Now, that's
more
just,
tasteful.
Yeah, that's just disrespecting
sorry.
the Gaye family.
Sorry.
So the worst Tinder date ever, Connor Oakes. This is the writing in this story, the New York Post, is just truly amazing. Thought your first date was crap. This Tinder hookup ended with a woman being pried off a window after she got stuck trying to grab her own poop.
What?
Yeah, exactly. And the creative writing goes on. On Tuesday, Liam Smith launched a GoFundMe campaign to replace his $357 window after firefighters had to destroy it to save his feces-flinging Tinderella.
Oh, no.
How do you like that? Feces-flinging Tinderella. Oh, no. So it starts when Smith takes his date to a Portuguese restaurant. They go back to the apartment. They Netflix, and they're chilling. The date goes to the bathroom, but she returns in a panic. I went for a poo in your toilet, she told me. But when the toilet wouldn't flush, I kind of lost my head. I reached into the toilet bowl, wrapped it in tissue paper, and threw it out the window. Unfortunately, the poop didn't make it out the window due to a design quirk. Who could know? The bundle instead fell inside the wide gap between the window's 2 panes. Well, the night was already ruined, so the pair went into the bathroom to try to solve the problem. The windows opened from the top, so the date, an amateur gymnast, what are the odds, got a boost from Smith, and she goes upside down into the gap from above, grasping for the object. And her number 2 rescue mission was a success. She handed the bundle back to Smith, but when she asked him to pull her back in, he couldn't do it. After trying for 15 minutes, of course, they called the fire department. She was rescued after another 15 minutes, but firefighters had to destroy the window in the process.
But the poop was saved, and that's really what matters.
Exactly right.
A
representative for the Avon Rescue and Fire Service told the Bristol Post, we received a call at 2241. One female trapped between the interior and exterior glass. 2 crews were sent from Temple Station.
Covered in poop. It's called a 2241 around here. That's the number we ascribe to that sort of incident.
Can you imagine? So this is absolutely the worst Tinder date ever.
I mean, yeah. My roommates have had some that would give it a run for their money. But honestly, in a way, I think that this is indicative that the relationship is strong and actually has a chance. Because if I say hypothetically we're in this scenario and I had somehow gotten myself into a situation on a date where my feces was stuck in the superstructure of their house in any way or form, my response would be to throw myself out of the window and never return.
It's funny you mentioned about their future because according to this report, they're staying together here.
Beautiful.
The guy says, we
True
went for a
love.
drink to discuss sitting at the crowdfunder. She's a lovely girl. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm really busy with my dissertation at the moment, but I'd certainly be open to seeing her again. So
beautiful.
Yeah, there's a future for this couple.
Yeah, your accent really added something too. It's really personal.
It's probably the worst British accent but it's the only one I can do that's
a lot
politically
of
correct.
Well, yeah, it's very politically correct.
No other accent is in my toolkit that I could get away with. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Connor, our millennial correspondent. We'll see you next week here on the Royal Oak Show. Have a great week.
Which was most appropriate because that was your theme.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hartman, Barry Farber, and so many more. Entertainment and lifestyle programming like The Robert Conrad Show, The What's Cooking Show, and The What's Cooking on Wine Show, all in true CRN HD audio. Sports, business, travel, food, wine, politics, there is something for everyone, and it's all available in CRN High Definition Sound. Log on to www.crntalk for listings and information on all your favorite shows. That's www.crntalk.com.
The radio channel.